G'day and welcome to Subbies TV. We've had an awesome week of footy. Only one game that missed out on playing, and that was due to a bit of weather. But we've got heaps of stuff to get through on the show, so might as well get straight to it. Joining me in the bunker today is Chunky Chunk.
Ninja, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How's your week been?
Great week of
Went
rugby,
out to
mate.
the Tars.
Great week of rugby.
Excellent, excellent. The mouth, Marley, how are you, dude?
Very good. Ninja, how are you, buddy?
Good. Ready to have a bit of a rant about something?
Always, mate. Ready and raring to go.
Brilliant. And our special guest this week, Gossie. How are we?
Very well, mate. Very well. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, guys.
Ref of the year, I hear. Ref of the year.
Not quite.
Nomination, at least.
Absolutely
guys.
happy to have a ref on the
Thanks,
table. Absolutely happy.
Yes. Overwhelmed.
It must be good to be on the right side of a referee for a change.
Yeah. So just give us a rundown. What are some of the games you've reffed and your experiences?
Yeah, so I started refereeing for the New South Wales Association back in 2004. Started off in Widden Cup, Mighty Widden Cup, and did sort of a couple of years of Widden, Burke, Kentwell, Subbies Colts, and then progressed into Premier Rugby up through 4th grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and now ultimately 1st grade.
Excellent.
So I'm refereeing there and having a great time.
Giving out a couple of cards or
Just occasionally.
Every
Just occasionally.
when they're warranted,
obviously.
Every now and again.
You've also got the schoolboys. You're refereeing tomorrow, is it? The
Yes.
Schoolboys Australia versus Tonga.
I've got the Australian A schoolboy side against Tonga as part of the Tongans tour out here, and then in the lead up to the test match between Australian schools and Tongan schools on Saturday.
Yeah, some small humans in amongst that.
There'll be some
Tongan side,
disciplinary issues, I would assume, in that game.
All right, boys, well, let's get straight into it. So round 11 wrap. So colleagues and Mossman unable to play due to the ground at colleagues. I believe it was just rubbish. So not able to play. But the rest of the round went as smoothly as it could have gone. Beecroft getting a big win, 48-19 over Barker.
I think
we saw it coming a little bit. You know, Barker have had an up and down season, but Beecroft a pretty strong side, especially at home. Hunters Hill. Now,
Can we skip this one?
No. Hunters...
One of your best.
Chunky, that is the worst dark horse I've seen. But Hunters Hill, little note though, they did get a win on their Thursday night, so they've had their first win for the season.
We'd like to congratulate the old Heartbreak Hill boys
I think
on
that
one.
was my tip, actually.
No.
On the Thursday
So
night.
Hunters Hill won against Iggy's and then back up against Drummoyne, and they went down 60-7. So that's
That's a
big game.
That's a loss in 2 games.
That is a loss. Iggy's getting a huge win now. I guess last week Fitzy got this. That was his dark horse. 26-9 over Campbelltown. So Iggy's great game. I mean, Campbelltown are going so strongly. So
that the bit of research he did down at Iggy's obviously paid off. The young Colty.
And Knox and Pats now. Awesome game, 22-21. Pats are one of the informed teams of the comp, and to get away with just a 1-point win. Now, Chunk, you were at Knox on the weekend. You got some footage as well, and you're wearing their shirt today. What's happening with Knox?
Mate, thanks to Knox for sending in a shirt as the featured team. Knox have started off the season pretty well. Just going on the game on the weekend, it was a miserable afternoon. They had to relocate from their number 1 ground to the backup ground. Mate, it was a wet, miserable afternoon up there. Half time was sort of neck and neck. The Knox boys came out, put a quick sort of 6 points on them. Unfortunately, 10 phases, too strong. St Pat's scored, converted the try, and St Pat's 22-21. So,
didn't Pats win by 1 point the week before as well, I think? Yeah, so they're just scraping
are the
through
wheels
at the
falling
moment.
off? Are the wheels falling off?
They're just staying on.
Kentwell Cup there, guys. So Drummoyne sitting at the top, followed by colleagues, Pats, Campbelltown, and then Beecroft, Iggy's and Knox sort of making up the numbers. Mossman with the game in hand, and Barker and Hunters to round off the table. Any thoughts?
Mate, I think we've said it before. I think that sort of top 3 are sort of pulling the way there. But mate, Campbelltown with a good result this weekend. But I mean, that would have hurt them against Iggy's as well, losing that one. So again, it really pulls them back.
Look, I think there's 4 very good sides in the top 4 in there. And the cream is rising to the top in Kentwell, and that middle part of the table through Beecroft really down to sort of Knox or Mossman is probably struggling a little bit, but with games in hand and a couple of rounds to go, could still
Anything
scrape into
could happen.
could still
It's
scrape
gonna be
into the
exciting.
fourth.
You
It's gonna
should
be
write that
exciting.
one down,
I
actually.
should write that
Ninja.
down.
It's really good.
Now, you've got Div 2 there as well.
Yeah,
We're just going to have a
Barraclough
look at the tables from the other divisions, just
Yeah.
to see how they're going. So, what's happening in Div 2?
Yeah,
there, Miles?
Barraclough Cup, the old, Balmain and Oatley have sort of just streeted the field there. I think everyone in Subbies Rugby is pretty aware how strong Balmain are, and
Yep.
they've got some great backing behind them. And Oatley are really giving them a run for their money too. Obviously, only the one loss against Balmain themselves.
How's the Clark Cup
Mate,
going?
the
Div
Clark
3?
Cup, mate, I guess the top 4 teams are reflected very close in the club champs. Brothers, Blue Mountains, Hawkesbury Ag and Waverley. So, mate, Brothers is streaming ahead, I guess, like Balmain. So, mate, they're just too strong this year.
And they're looking like coming up to Div 2, I think, next year as well.
They are.
Just down in Div 5, Jeffrey Cup, I mean, awesome again. Like, there's a lot of teams just sort of built up there. I think there's been some awesome sort of games. Canterbury just in touch, but Redfield at the top. 12 from 12. I mean, there's a couple of teams that are undefeated, and it's a huge thing to go through a whole season undefeated.
Yeah, one of the toughest things you can do in a season.
And then, I mean, 10 bonus points as well. So it's like they're winning.
Yeah,
They're
quite
winning
well.
very well.
Yeah.
And moving on there, Miles.
Down in the old Molly Meldrum Cup.
Molly Meldrum Cup. Molly Meldrum Cup.
I thought he was an AFL boy, but obviously not.
Is it named after him?
You'd have to assume so. Mate, this one is very actually probably the closest of all the divisions. You've got sort of 5 teams there right at the top who are all within sort of 10 points of each other. A lot of bonus points there. You got Grammar Old Boys at the top and down to Dundas. The boys out of Dundas. We love them out there.
I did get an email from Dundas Valley, and they gave me the update. They're just coming to the top 4. They want finals. They are.
And just another side point there, the only team in any sort of top division is Chatswood, who hasn't had a win this year. So
it's true.
That's
Chatswood, no
tough
bonus.
season. No bonus points. 11 losses from 11 starts. So get your money on those boys, obviously.
Chatswood, Subbies TV's backing you. You're going to get a win. We can feel it.
Good
We
luck
can feel it in the
this
waters.
weekend.
Yeah. And Halligan Cup. Chunk, you run around with Halligan sometimes,
Mate,
don't you?
I do. I run slowly around Halligan, but
Waddle. You waddle around Halligan.
Moves.
mate,
relative
I've played in the comp for about 10 or 11 years. This year, probably the big notice is the convicts.
Yep.
Mate, they've left the division to play higher.
Yep.
So we're sort of missing that competition and that rivalry that we've always had. We played Balmain there, not represented in the table, but they're quite a strong club to play against. Mossman, 10 from 10, 7 bonus points. It's a good year for the boys.
Beautiful.
So that's a wrap up on the Halligan.
Beautiful. Well, they're all the divisions, guys. So we'll try to keep you updated as much as possible. Now, moving on to the matches for this week, round 12. We've got some awesome games coming up. Mossman are going to be hosting Iggy's. So, quick thoughts there, boys?
I think it's a tough game for Mossman as well. They haven't had training during the week as well for the last week, and they missed their game on the weekend. So, but I think they sort of need to win. But Iggy's are obviously very strong with that last result.
They just got a huge win last week. So Barker are hosting colleagues. You would think that this is going to be one-sided.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 plays 9, colleagues,
Sorry, Barker, but
Yeah, I don't think
I mean,
there's
good
much.
luck.
Good.
Colleagues are a strong side,
Yeah.
and they're probably still fuming that they got towed by Pats the other week. So
they've got some anger.
they're going to come through. Knox and Beecroft, good game.
Very good game. This is a flip of the coin for me. It could go either way. I mean, they've both been pretty up and down teams all season.
Yeah.
Mate, the boys were very disappointed last week when they lost.
Yeah.
And they're all looking forward to coming back this week and touching up Beecroft. So.
Yep. And then, of course, Pats and Hunters. That's a big game as well.
Oh.
But I think...
I think the biggest thing in that game will be the scoreboard, to be honest. I think.
I
think
think maybe.
I think the Pats boys
Or
might
maybe
run
not.
away with that.
Or maybe not.
Well, that's great.
Now,
There's
game
two
of the week.
options.
Who knows?
Game of the week. Drummoyne versus Campbelltown. Thoughts?
Look, I think Campbelltown are going to be really chasing a win here. They've been building, I suppose, for want of a better term, throughout the season, and they'll be seeing the Dirty Reds as a big target to chase down.
Chuck?
Yeah, mate, I'll go with Drummoyne, although Campbelltown has to actually get some points on the table. I think once again, everyone's sort of, they are the dark horse when they travel.
Yeah.
And Drummoyne is very strong at Drummoyne.
I think Drummoyne's going to be too strong.
Yeah.
I just think they're going to be too strong at home.
I'll save my decision for later.
Oh.
Ooh, is that going to be in the rants or? No?
You never know.
Speaking of rants, of course, Miles, you have a giant sook about something each week. Facebook lit up over your sook last week.
Did it what?
What are you having whinge about?
Thank you, Ninja. I did get it going a bit there, didn't I?
Yeah, comments.
My rant this week is about scoreboards at grounds. Why do you have them if you're not going to use them? They're there, you've got sponsors on them, usually from about 25 years ago, but they're never updated. How hard is it? Grab a kid, there's always a kid running around doing something stupid, give him a pie or a sausage sandwich and a couple of cans of Coke and say, kid, keep that scoreboard updated. He'll take care of it, and then when you get people walking past, they can actually watch the game and know what's going on. I watched one down at Peterson the other day, apparently it was 38-0 at kickoff. How can that be? It's just keep them updated. If you've got a scoreboard, it keeps everyone far more interested in the game if you know what the score is. And that's what the score is.
Fair enough.
Little tagline at the end. So basically, either keep the score or don't even bring out the boards.
Or don't even have them, but you've got to have them. You've got to have them at every ground. And
Some
if you do,
keep
keep them updated.
Mate, on the Facebook comments are coming in, mate. Now, how many times have you, up at Rawson, updated the scoreboard?
Never. It's not my job. I'm not a 10-year-old.
Fair call, fair call. Okay, guys, moving along. Now, just quickly, we went to the Tars game on the weekend, Chuck. Had a look there. We got an all-access pass, media pass, so we got to go around the background and see what goes on. Very excited.
The last time they'll ever do that.
It felt like our first day at school.
You got a couple of interviews?
Yeah, mate. So thanks to Nikki Drinkwater from the HSB Waratahs that provided the tickets for us. Mate, it was a great experience to go out with the Ninja and you know, go through the front gates and wonder where the hell we have to be or what do we have to do.
Even though you did have to put up with him being a Brumbies supporter.
No, that's all right, mate.
Yeah.
Mighty Brumbies.
No, it was a great opportunity for us to go out there and we you know, spoke to a lot of guys about the show. Ninja got heckled by some guy 2 rows back who'd seen him on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up. So
Straight up
it's
heckled.
good to see he's getting some recognition.
Good.
We had an opportunity to interview the TMO at halftime, which was great. And at the end of the game, we joined both media conferences and also interviewed the match day referee. So great experience for us in these early days of Subbies TV.
Yeah. Plenty more to come.
And hopefully, let's look up maybe. We'll see. Speaking of reffing, Gozzy, we've got some questions for you.
Fire away, mate.
Now this year they've brought in this thing they call daylight. This whole when the tackler makes a tackle, he's got to roll away and the ref wants to see daylight. I mean, usually we're playing in the day, so I don't quite understand what his problem is. But what is that? What are they trying to enforce there?
Okay.
It's not really a new rule, it's just a new terming.
Well, yeah, it's not really a new rule or anything like that. It's more a new focus.
Yep.
So what we do as a group of referees, we sit down at the start of each year and say, this is how we're going to referee the game. This is how we want to see the game played and how we're going to referee it. And that flows down from the very top. So we take our lessons from what the Sanzar guys, so the Super Rugby guys are doing,
yep, with
the idea being that we flow it all the way down through the very bottom of junior rugby. So the idea of daylight is that if you've got what we're calling a tackle assist player,
yep,
so someone who brings a player to ground but doesn't actually constitute a tackler,
yep,
so they don't go to ground themselves, before they go for the ball, they've got to release the player and then they've got to go back on. So that's the daylight idea. And you often hear
want to see a gap, want to see a moment.
Want to see him actually release the player and or the ball. And so you hear the South Africans talking about chicken wings.
Yep.
Is the idea that it looks a bit like
hanging
a
out
chicken
with
wing.
Melbourne Storm players too long.
Yeah, something like that. So that's what it is, more so than anything else.
Do you not find with that though, Gozzy, that if you do talk about that sort of thing, that you start to focus on that too much during the game? Now I noticed in a couple of the international games, especially the Wales game, that they were so focused in on that tackler and making sure that there was a release and a roll. The Welsh guys were a step and a half offside the whole game. They were just standing behind the ref whilst he focused in on that. Do you find that it can sometimes sort of throw you off that you start thinking about that one thing too much?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's certainly probably a valid point in that we do get ball focused. Referees get ball focused. They start looking at the ball, they start looking at the breakdown and nothing else.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that is that if you get the tackle right, so you get the ball coming out of there quickly, and we talk about 3-second ball, we want the ball to go into a tackle and come back out within 3 seconds.
Yeah.
The concept is that if that happens, then the rest of the game will flow on naturally from that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Obviously, when you get focused on the ball, you start losing perspective on offside lines and things like that.
And that's where your assistants obviously need to come in a bit
Which
more.
is,
I guess that's where it's hard with some of the lower divisions where you don't have qualified touchies to help you out and
exactly right.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
say, hey, look, they're offside.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's a great advantage at first grade level and at international and Super Rugby level that we have our touch judges wired up. Our assistants are wired up and they can, with a press of a button, talk to us and we get that information live. So it's much easier to get
Whereas in
that
subbies, you just have guys like me on the sideline who don't need to be wired up.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you
You'll just-
what's happening anyway.
You'll just tell us anyway. And
Too often.
Assistant referee.
it's very helpful
Oh, excellent.
a lot of the time.
Thanks for that.
No
Aussie.
worries, mate.
Now I understand daylight. And when I
Not
make
that
a
you-
tackle,
Yeah, not that you've ever made a tackle
When I make
or
a
been
tackle
in a ruck in your
eventually.
life.
I'll make sure I release him.
Not with that tan that you've got, mate. You ever see the daylight?
Lovely. Thanks. Thanks, Junkie.
That's a bit personal.
It's like a giant hug, seriously.
Right there. All right, boys. So we did an awesome segment last week called Dunning's Doings, where we digress what Dunning did, and we've been sent one which is actually it's moulded 2 segments. We've got Dunning's Doings and lookalike. It's the
Synergy.
same thing. Yep. So here it is. That's Dunning standing there with. His lookalike. It's
Lovely.
sensational. Sensational.
I'm going to say in the Subbies Rugby ranks, he is not the only guy that looks like Matt Dunning. I've seen quite a few getting
Few
around.
guys.
Yeah.
So that's great. So keep them coming in. Remember, if you want to send anything into us, whether it's footage, photos, or you want to update us on the happenings of the weekend, post-game celebrations, etc., email us at rugbystuff@subbiestv.com.au. Now, moving straight along, we've got some photos of the week. We got sent this from St George. It's a photo of Robbie Deans, and I'm not sure what he's doing exactly.
He's still got it, obviously.
It's Footloose, I think. It might be Footloose. He's trying out. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's Robbie Deans slipping over. But sensational photos.
Probably because he didn't have his skins on or something like that.
Possible. Now, this is a question we got sent in from Brian from Knox, and he wants to ask the panel, and this will be the question on the Facebook page, so make sure you chime in. What are your thoughts on promotion and relegation between Shoot Shield and Subbies? So what do you think? Straight through.
I'll start, mate. It's got to happen, basically. I think
Yep.
Shoot Shield at the bottom end of that competition. It's getting a bit stale, and with the likes of, I guess, not so Kentwell Cup this year. There's a few standout featured teams, but I guess Balmain. Everyone's going to sitting back watching what happens to Balmain and how far they do go up. So it's got to happen.
So you're for it, Mark?
I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm definitely for it. I don't understand why that's the level where it stops. I mean, unless it's a money thing, which I don't think it is. Randwick are sort of struggling for cash, and you can see that that's coming out in their results. Obviously, clubs like Drummoyne have got plenty of cash, great ground. Why can't they go up?
And they're
Give them another
competitive, so,
shot.
I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
no
no
reason
way
they
they can't
couldn't
be
be.
competitive.
Goswell?
Yeah. Look, I think the idea behind it is a great one. Whether it would work in practice, I don't know, because there is a big gulf between Shoot Shield and Kentwell.
Yep.
And you look at it, and from a refereeing perspective, there certainly is a difference in the speed, in the size of players. Because remember, you're dealing with semi-professional and professional players in Shoot Shield. So
Well, there's players that get paid across the board, really.
Oh,
isn't there,
exactly.
That are considered professional then.
Exactly.
And that's subbies right through to
Yeah, and I
to
think
Shoot Shield.
it sort of shows as well. At the top of the Kent World Cup, I think there's
Well,
a bit of money there.
I think it can. I reckon it'll just make the sport better.
It's about 600. It's about 600 grand a year to run a Shoot Shield comp, mate. So
yeah.
it might
So
take a
any
bit
team
of,
that wants to play Shoot Shield, Chunk's going to shout you.
Oh, maybe
All
with
right,
nice.
straight into the announcements, boys. We're almost wrapping up now, and the upcoming events. Now, this is a shout out to St Pat's. They get up every Thursday after training and watch the show. They throw it on the big screen there, and I've been told that if I mention that Falco said Jono was putting on $2 beers, I guess he's going to put on $2 beers. So have one for us, boys.
So I'll be at Pat's training on
Yeah,
Thursday.
Pat's
Thanks, Jono.
we'll see you Thursday. Thanks,
Thanks,
boys.
Jono.
Thanks,
St
Jono.
Pat's also have their Ladies' Day this weekend, so 14th of July, and so does Knox. Knox have their Ladies' Day.
Correct.
Yep. Back to Blacktown Day is also this weekend. So they have a deal for all current members and ex-members of the club. $20, you get a cap, drinks, steak sandwich, and a great day of rugby.
Wow.
Great
Excellent.
incentive, mate.
And they're playing against Blue Mountains, so that would be a
It's
good.
going to be a good clash. Yeah.
Good clash?
Very good clash.
Definitely.
Alright, excellent. Balmain, now this is awesome by Balmain. They've got their Ruby Rose Day, raising funds for Stillbirth Foundation. First grade will be wearing the special jersey, which you can see just now.
Lovely white
so that's the
jersey.
special jersey, and they'll be auctioning them off. So and all the proceeds go to that charity, which is fantastic. And Hunters Hill have their I'm not going to be able to say this last. What's their home ground?
Baronia Park.
Baronia Park. I've practiced Hunters, but anyway, back to Hunters Hill Day. And that's on the 21st of July, and they're playing Mossman, and they'll be celebrating the premierships in Kentwell Cup 72, Wyndham Cup 82, and Stockdale Cup 92. So good work, Hunters. Now, we're almost wrapped up, boys, but got to preview this. This is actually the biggest thing that happens in the year. It's the under 85 kilo comp.
It's also the smallest thing that happens
The
in the
smallest
year.
thing that happens in the year. Under 85 kilo comp. The finals are happening this week. Mossman, who got the minor premiership, and I'm just putting a disclaimer, I'm going to be biased because I play for the under 85 kilo comp.
He gets a jersey anyway.
Oh, no, that's true, I come off the bench. Mossman is playing Hunters Hill, and then Beecroft playing Sydney Old Boys. Now, Hunters almost got Mossman in the last game, so that's going to be tough. So they're playing that on Wednesday night. Both games are on Wednesday night.
Yep, that's up at Rawson, I believe.
Rawson and at Heaton Park for Beecroft.
I think you guys will have a tough match against Hunters.
I think Hunters are going. Honestly, Hunters are going to push. They pushed this last time. They did have a guy that was 120 kilos, but they pushed this last time. And
He was a 90 before the shooting at this show.
Beecroft last week they played out to see who got the minor premiership, and we got up, but Beecroft pushed us the entire game, and they are tough.
And I believe the Sydney High Old Boys are the only ones who beat you through the season as well. So
that's just, I mean, that's a fact, sure. But,
yes, exactly. It's cold hard fact, I believe.
So just quickly, boys, dark horse for the week. What are we looking at?
Chunky, what do you got there for your dark horse, mate?
Oh, gee, I just don't
Come on,
like this
Chunk.
part of
Choose
the show, mate. Let's just go. All right, Knox.
Knox.
I'll just
Knox.
up and wearing the shirt. Why not?
Knox. There you go.
I'm going to repeat my effort from last week and go a dark horse in the game of the week and say that Campbelltown can recover from the bad loss and
Beat Drummoyne.
beat Drummoyne after their big win.
Gozzy.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Miles. I think Campbelltown will travel very well to Drummoyne and
He
will
knows
certainly
where the
push.
power is.
Well, I'm jumping on the Hunters Hill bandwagon.
Oh,
Hunters Hill
Piss
to
off
beat St Pat's. So that's it.
Whoa.
Well, that's it for this week, guys, on Subbies TV. Remember, you can write into us at rugbystuff@subbiestv.com.au and jump on the Facebook page. We still want more people to like the page because we feel unliked.
It's got nothing to do with Facebook.
Jump on, comment. If you've got anything that you want Marley to rant about, you can contact him at marley@subbiestv.com.au, or if there's a team that you want to be featured on the show, contact Chunk at subbiestv.com.au. That's it. Thanks, Chunky.
Thanks, Ninja. Great weekend rugby.
Excellent, Miles. Thanks, mate.
Ninja, the pleasure
Always
is all
mate.
yours.
Gozzy, thank you.
thanks
on
for
the
having
show.
me, boys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks,
Awesome,
Gozzy.
mate.
It was
Thanks for your time.
wonderful.
All right, guys. Till next week. Enjoy your rugby.